again. It was my birthday just a couple days ago and I nearly forgot. So we're going to be making a birthday cake today. So let's just cut to the chase. Yeah, I forgot my birthday, kind of, so we're going to make a birthday cake today. This year I'm going to be making a very spacey cake. I don't remember what I even did last year, never mind. But yeah, I'm going to be making a very spacey cake. A couple years ago for a cake competition, I actually submitted a CMB sort of style cake, you know, with loads of dots and stuff to sort of look like the CMB. And I actually got runner-up prize, which is pretty good. I think I won a bouncy ball or a spring, which was great. But this year, I'm going to try and improve on that with some baking. So I've got all the ingredients for a cake, I just don't have any colouring. And I don't really know where to get some. I've been walking around. I'll probably have to pop by tomorrow since tomorrow. Never mind, we'll do that. Anyway, so I'll bake the cake with you guys and then I'll come back later and try and decorate it. Okay, so we're gonna start off with 250 grams of butter. And then what we're gonna do is mash it together with 250 grams of sugar, caster sugar, which is right over there. And then we're gonna add 4 eggs, some dry ingredients. I think it's 250 of self-raising, like half a teaspoon of baking soda, oops, sorry. Some vanilla paste, and something else. Ooh, buttermilk, which I don't have, so I'm going to show you an alternative as I'm doing this. Cool. Sugar and butter, we'll just whisk it up. Can you see it? Here you go. Great, so we're basically all done with the butter and sugar, so let's add our 4 eggs. No, I won't do that. Great, and so we just mix this one up. Can you even see? There we go. Right, so I'm going to add in 250 grams of self-raising flour. I'm going to take it over to the scales and get that done. I'll also be adding half a tablespoon of bicarbonate of soda or baking powder or whatever you want really. And I'll also be adding some of the vanilla. And the vanilla I use is not the what do you call it? The synthetic one, the one that tastes like alcohol because they add so much ethanol into it. For some reason, I just use this one and it's a little bit better. It's a lot more vanilla-y than... Oh, it doesn't even have any alcohol in it, which is great. Yeah, perfect. How do Christians deal with this, like the Mormon ones? If it's got alcohol, so do they just eat plain cake? Right, so we've added, oops, we've added our dry ingredients in there. Do I need anything else? Oh yeah, vanilla. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just slowly mix these guys in. Oh, also, before we do that, buttermilk. So what I have is the correct amount of milk. It should be 118 milliliters of buttermilk, but we don't have that. We've got the milk there. What we want to do, just a couple minutes before we add it, is add in a very small amount of lemon juice. I have lime juice because I'm fancy like that, so I'm just going to add a couple drops. A bit more. There we go. And leave it for a couple minutes. Not only that, but it will give the cake a lovely little lime hint. Well, it barely will because it's only a couple drops, but still. Lime is absolutely delicious. One time when I was making this recipe, I actually forgot any liquids at all, so the buttermilk and stuff, and it actually turned out just like a normal cake, just a little bit more on the cookie side, like you know those soft baked cookies, but only just a tiny bit, so it actually worked out well in the end. Great, so I'm gonna get rid of some of this. And for the next part, we're just actually going to be folding in the buttermilk. Okay, so whilst I was waiting for that buttermilk to do its thing, I've lined and greased this baking tin. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. And now that the buttermilk's actually ready, it looks really yucky, so that's perfect. We're going to add that in and fold it. So, oh yeah, you'll absolutely not be able to see this, but it's just a bit bubbly, I guess. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll just gently fold a bit of that in. thick this batter. It's not exactly a liquid. Oops. Nope. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna add this to the tin thing, and then we're gonna put it in the oven, 170 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Screw you guys who use Fahrenheit. For 30 minutes. Okay, hello again everyone. We're going to be popping this into the tin. If it's, oh yeah, it's perfectly liquidy enough. That's all done. So we're just gonna pop this in the oven. I forgot there was a tray in there. No, we'll leave the tray in there, screw that. There we go, I've already preheated it, so it should be nice and toasty. Well, it is. And we're just gonna wait while we wait for that to brown over and cook. I thought I might talk very quickly about the cosmic microwave background. So the CMB, the cosmic microwave background, it was discovered quite a few decades ago, I think in 1959 by, or was it 78? I can't remember. By Penzias and Wilson, who had this really large radio antenna in New Jersey, and they were trying to, you know, collect some radio signals, but they always had some background radiation that they just could not get rid of. And so they actually thought it was pigeon poop for quite a while, which is a bit gross. And so they would go out and clean this antenna, you know, day in, day out, and it must have been quite annoying for them. But it turns out that this radio noise was actually from the early universe. I've just checked and it's 1964, so sorry about that. But yeah, the CMB is essentially a remnant of the early universe back when it was dominated by radiation, so things like photons, neutrinos, you know, relativistic particles. At this time, very early in the universe, what happened was, because it was so hot and so high energy, atoms that we know today didn't actually exist. What you'd have was particles like protons, and neutrons, you know, not combined, and neither were electrons. It was essentially an ionized soup of particles, essentially, which we call today plasma. And as a result of this, photons couldn't actually get through this plasma very easily because they were always scattered. And so what the universe would have looked like was this very hot, very blindingly bright soup of just opaqueness. It was until after a long while of expansion that the universe cooled down, and what happened was particles were no longer, well, electrons, sorry, were no longer at high enough energies to stay ionized, and so they'd combine to already form nuclei, so protons and neutrons, or maybe just a proton itself. And what happened then was, which was called the, was it recombination period or decoupling epoch? I can't remember which one, but essentially that was the time when the atoms were able to form and combine, and protons were able to just roam free into the universe, essentially, and are now able to travel, you know, billions and billions of light years to actually hit our eyes. So these 2 points, the recombination, which is misleading in itself because nothing ever recombined, essentially combined for the first time, and decoupling were really pivotal points in the way that the universe is today. Because they actually set the abundances of all of the light elements that we see in the universe, so hydrogen, helium, and lithium especially, which, you know, a lot of the universe is actually made of this, you know, so that's one thing that's really important about it. But another thing about the CMB is that it essentially set density fluctuations and it basically created the galaxies and the structures that we have today. So understanding the CMB and you know, its fluctuations are really important in understanding how life and planets and big structures came to be. I've just checked the cake. It has been well over half an hour, and it's basically a liquid inside there, so I'm a little bit concerned, but let's continue. You can see quite a lot of different images of the CMB on Google and science articles and whatnot, and it essentially looks like very similar stuff. You know, you've either got like one that's red on one side, blue on the other, you've got ones with like a band in the middle, or you've just got one which is just uniformly mottled in its appearance. So the one that's actually red on one side, blue on the other is actually due to the movement of Earth, the general movement of Earth, and so you need to factor that out if you want to see the actual CMB. And so once you get past that stage, what you'll then see is that really long line in the center of the CMB. What that is, the long line, is the Milky Way and all the radiation and just energy that's coming from it and getting in the way of us and our view of the CMB. Once you do a bunch of power laws and other stuff which I have no expertise in, you'll eventually end up with the actual CMB, which follows a pretty much near perfect black body, which is absolutely fantastic. So a lot of these little dots and stuff, the red ones, blue ones, and everything in between, they're essentially temperature fluctuations in the early universe. And I know when you see like a dark red and then a dark blue, you must think, oh, this one's thousands of Kelvin and this one is like 0 Kelvin, it's freezing. It's actually really, really tiny temperature fluctuations. So the average temperature of the CMB today is 2.725 Kelvin. Yes, it's 2.725 Kelvin. And so these hotter and colder bits, they're only really, really tiny fractions of that hotter or colder. So it's not a huge difference in temperature. Hello. So we're gonna have a look at the cake. It smells burnt at the top, but also the inside is watery. So I'm really worried as to what the hell I've done wrong. So let's just have a quick sneak peek. Woo! Okay. Oh wait, no, I can't turn that on. We're on video. So this is how it's looking. There we go. Bye-bye. Can you even see that? Yes, you can. Right, so excuse all of this mathematical writing. You'll probably see it in the next video because I'm doing something on inflation. Yeah, that's great. Anyway, so I'm going to try and explain this as best as possible. I realise you can't see it, so I'm going to bring the camera over here and I'll try and explain to you how I'm going to decorate this cake. Great, now I have a very unflattering chin. Anyway, so last time I made this, I was in 12th grade? 11th grade, year 12. Right, and what I did was I baked a cake. I actually made a really dark cake with raspberry flavouring, and I definitely didn't add any alcohol into that cake because it was a school competition. But yeah, so it was a dark cake, raspberry and definitely not alcohol, rum flavoured. And on the decoration, on the decorative side, what did I do? I can't remember how I made the icing stick to it, but I had something that would stick the icing, or maybe not. I think it was just water. Yikes. And I would just basically get some ready roll icing of multiple colours. I had red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Yeah, that's it. And I made tiny little circles out of it through, I don't know how I made them. And then I just stuck them on to look like the CMB, which I'll put somewhere over here somewhere. This year, I'm going to try and do something slightly different now that I've made a couple cakes over the past few years to varying success. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a cream cheese based sort of icing, essentially, something that's very thick at least and easily pipeable. And what I'm going to do is actually pipe little dots. I'm not even drawing this out, what's the point of this? So here is my CMB, my cake, sorry. What I'll probably do is only do a hemisphere like I did in the last one. And so I'm just going to use a piping nozzle, or no, I could use just a sandwich bag. I don't want to spend money. And then I'll just pipe little dots around. You know what I'm saying? So that should work, and because it's not English icing, it shouldn't give me diabetes, which is great. Yeah. The only reason this one isn't actually going to be raspberry and non-alcoholic flavor, actually I can say it now. The only reason this one isn't raspberry and rum flavoured is because my partner doesn't like raspberries and they're a baby. So unfortunately I have to make it plain vanilla, which actually I'm not really complaining, I do like vanilla. Especially if it's the good kind of vanilla. Why is my camera going bright and dark? Our cake has finally cooked. Oh dear, this is quite dark, but I put a knife through it and it's come out clean, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Put a tea towel on it, head over, get some colours, hopefully some vegetarian red colouring as well, and then we'll be back. By the Pope! Et voila, it is ready. Looks like the thing that Anakin died on and Mustafa, but anyway. Hello. Anyway, so what we need to do now is to make it somewhat curved. It doesn't need to be a perfect semicircle. I mean, if it was, then we'd lose so much cake that it would be, you know, useless. Tiny. So what we're going to do is cut off just little bits at a time. I'll probably start off with this little bit. It doesn't need to be perfect, like I said. Very crispy bits. I also went out and got my food colouring, so I now have a vegetarian red, and also brilliantly. And I've also got yellow, which I've had for a long while, and a bit too long a while. Never mind. Let's find a plate to put the guys in. Well, come on in then.
Sorry.
Oh.
You're actually filming?
No.
Oh.
I'm cutting a cake, bro.
Okay.
Why?
I ordered 2 chips by accident.
By accident, huh?
I can't eat 2 chips, bro.
You can't?
I might be fat, but...
Well, thank you, bro.
Thank you for saving my heart. Collapsing.
Hello.
Thank you. Enjoy your McDonald's.
Yeah, thank you very much. And by the way, I am recording.
I know, I saw the square, bro. I know how phones work.
Get pranked. That looks somewhat circular. It is a little bit not great, but that's alright. Great. So we've got double cream over here. Soft cheese. It's technically cream cheese. It must just be something inside it that means they're not legally allowed to call it, I don't know. It's like with soft serve, they're not legally allowed to call it ice cream because it's bad for you. What we're going to do now is we're going to make 2 batches. One for the warmer colours and then one for the cooler colours. And we'll split this in half, that's quite easy to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with yellow. Right, essentially, sorry I'm getting really hyper. And we're going to put a little bit of yellow in each of them, and we're going to use both of them to create roughly all of the yellow bits that we need. And then in one we're going to add just a tiny bit of red, get it to orange, and then add orange. And then we're going to get to add more red, turn it into a full-blown red and add that there. We're going to do the same for the blues except with blue, so we'll add a bit of blue to make green, and then we'll add more to make blue. This is not exactly the strongest stuff, it's a gel food colouring, but it's not a proper gel food colouring. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, never mind. 200. Those do not look even, but it does say it's even. Okay, cool. I'm going to whisk these up until they're fairly firm. Okay, we're nearly there. Oh, actually we're... Perfect, okay. Great. Oh, jeez. So both bowls are done. I'll just show you the consistency. It's basically not moving. Is it? No. That's what I want in this case because we're going to be piping little dots. Yeah, I want it to be extremely stiff. So what we're going to do now is add some sugar to both of them. And then we're gonna add some cream cheese. Woo. Right. Oh shoot, I realised the background music. There we go. Sorry about that. Hopefully I don't get copyright claim or something. Fork. Definitely sweet enough. At least for me. It's not very sweet, but that's exactly what I want. Just a little bit more. The house, it's not exactly the greatest, but sorry about that. Good. So now let's get over to colouring. We're only going to use a tiny amount of the yellow. Oh, that's just one drop, but we'll need a bit more. Oh. Great, this one's not as vibrant, but that's okay. I do not mind. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I've got a nice plastic bag, a sandwich bag, and I've just cut a tip in the end, right over there. And that way we can just pipe the stuff on. It's already a bit messy, oops. Okay, and so we're ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pipe little bits like so. This is about as good a view as you're gonna get, so there it is, little dots. And we're just gonna keep on going, I guess. Yeah, so it's a very spotty cake. I'm just using the same sandwich bag. Oops, it's dripping. And yeah, I'll just be putting some red. Well, not red, orange. It looks very pink actually, but I cannot be bothered to mix it anymore because I've just had enough right now. Pinkish orange, ready to go. There we go. Great. Cool, let's go. So now let's go on to red. So we've got this pinkish colour and, oh dear, I messed up. But now we're just basically gonna add as much of this as I can. Great, so that's what we have right now. That's enough. Let's go. Okay, I think that's actually fairly okay. So that's actually coming along pretty well. Let's start by doing green. Cool. Let's add a scoop of this. Oops. A slight another scoop. And a tiny bit more blue. I'm just using another jug because I don't want to have to mix the entire thing again. And it's quite clear I made a little bit too much cream cheese mix. Okay, that's still quite blue, but I think that's about as good as it will get. I didn't think to buy green because you can make green with yellow and blue. Oh dear. Never mind. It'll be okay. Oh no, that's perfect. Okay. I have a feeling the blue this thing is slowly starting to melt. So now let's make ourselves some nice blue. Great, so I've added some over here. A lovely deep blue. Definitely doesn't look radioactive. Actually, that does look quite green, this one. Anyway, and no, I'm not doing purple. Add this to wherever there is just a space. There shouldn't be too many. Liquidy now. I think I'm just gonna call it quits. There we go, a CMB cake for a physicist's birthday. We're done. Here we go. I can't bend it too much, otherwise it'll slip, and I've seen way too many cake fails to make that mistake, but hey, it's a CMB cake for sure. Hold on a sec, there we go. Now you can see me. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I think I did a great job. For somebody who bakes once a year, I think this is good enough. But yeah, it's not bad, it's not bad. I'll put the CMB right next to this so you can see for yourself. But hopefully it should taste amazing, and whoops, there we go. And that's what's most important, I guess, at the end of the day. It's a cake, it should be tasty. And so I hope my friends will enjoy this tomorrow when we have a nice little Yule party. Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. This was a very chaotic video. I'm very sorry, but actually I'm not sorry, you have to deal with it. So yeah, I'll see you in a couple weeks time for some inflation, which should be great. And with that, happy holidays, blessed Yule, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Just happy everything. I'll see you soon.
Don't forget to subscribe to Tibby's YouTube channel.
You're so cute.